May we now invite our ABAC Hong Kong members, Mr. Vincent Lo, Chairman, Shui Holdings Limited, and Mr. Anthony Nightingale, Managing Director of Jardine Matheson Limited, to come on stage and share with us some highlights of today's summit.
First of all, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's wonderful to see such an overwhelming support to our summit. And before we start, maybe I should ask my senior member, Anthony, to give you a briefing on actually what we do in ABAC.
Thank you, Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very much equal members, not senior members and junior members. But as always, Vincent is being modest. I don't know how many of you know much about APEC or ABAC. ABAC is the businessmen's group or business people's group, because fortunately we have a number of prominent ladies who advise the APEC leaders. And APEC is the 21 economies, some on this side of the Pacific, some including the United States, some South American countries, Canada, on the other side of the Pacific. And we gather together each year. Each year, the chairmanship of APEC and ABAC changes. Last year, the chair was America. This year, it's Russia. And each year, there are themes. And each year, there are 4 meetings. This year, for the first time in 10 years, the first meeting is being held here in Hong Kong. Now, the 4 themes of ABAC and APEC this year are liberalizing and facilitating foreign trade and investment throughout the region, deepening regional economic integration. The second one is strengthening food security. The third is improving supply chains. And the fourth is fostering innovation. Now, you might say, what has all that got to do with SMEs? Well, of course, all these issues actually affect both big companies and small companies. But also inside ABAC, we have 6 working committees, and one of those is devoted just to issues that are important to SMEs. So that is a very quick rundown of what APEC and ABAC does. And as Margaret mentioned a moment ago, we've organized this SME summit to coincide with this first ABAC meeting, and it is a joint organization of ABAC and the TDC. Before I hand the microphone back to Vincent, I just want to say a few thank yous. And my first thanks goes to Vincent himself. It's truly his energy and enthusiasm that has brought this SME conference together. When he first suggested it to me, I thought, yes, it was a good idea. But I'd no idea that we get the support that we have, both in the audience that's come and even as important, the speakers who've agreed to come. So my second thanks is to all those speakers. Thank you all very much for making your time. Some are from Hong Kong. Some have come from outside Hong Kong to be with us today. My third thanks, of course, to our co-organizer, really the one who did all the hard admin work, which is the Hong Kong Trade Development Council. And my fourth thanks is to all of you in the audience. Thank you very much for coming, and please be an active and participative audience. Ask questions of the speakers, make comments if there's anything that they're saying that you would like to agree with or not agree with. And I think on that note, back to you, Vincent.
Thank you, Anthony. I think we really have a very exciting speaker list today. We're going to be starting with Cher Wang. Her story, in such a short time, have built up such a big empire, and Forbes ranked her as the #1 richest person in Taiwan. So later on, we'll find the secrets from her. And then after Cher, we're going to have another very interesting session. It's entrepreneurship. Is it born or learned? I need that, because if it's learned, then I still have a chance. And then we're going to talk about financing. Actually, how are you going to get the money? So we have banker and we have a venture capitalist, Paul, coming all the way from Canada. And then during lunch, we're going to have a very prominent entrepreneur from Hong Kong, William Fong, to talk about the Li and Fong story, which is, again, another spectacular story. And after lunch, we're going to have Maria to come and share with us what Hong Kong government is doing to help with the SMEs. And then after that session, a very interesting one, entrepreneurship in big corporations.
If that's possible.
That's possible. Actually, we met each other about 25 years ago. And at that time, I already thought Anthony is going to get very high, but I didn't know that he was going to become Taipan. Otherwise, I would have been much nicer to him. So entrepreneurship in big corporations. We have Deb and Henrietta as well. And then the final session, Wang Shi, Wang-Ke, the largest property company in China. He flew back from Harvard to come and speak to us today. So I think we're going to have a very exciting seminar today.
I think so too, Vincent. And ladies and gentlemen, you can rest assured that if by any chance, which I don't of course expect, but if by any chance one of our speakers is unable to make it, I've already arranged a very, very powerful reserve in the form of my friend Vincent, because of course Vincent's own story is one of the great entrepreneurial successes of Hong Kong. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please enjoy our SME Summit.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Lo and Mr. Nightingale, for giving us a preview of today's program.